Before we start with today's video, once again, I must promote another election night stream. That is right, folks. This Tuesday, August 9th at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Wisconsin election night stream will commence. Should be a quick election night stream, but I hope everybody tunes in because fairly interesting race happening in Wisconsin. Again, as usual, the link is in the description down below. Click that link, you get sent to the live stream, and, click that. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back in with a new video, and today, it is Prediction Monday again. That is right, folks, we're finally going to be doing a prediction for the state of Wisconsin's GOP gubernatorial election. That's it, folks. One prediction this week. I may, say a couple other predictions, but this is the only main prediction for this week. Now, before we continue, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow the mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And also join the channel. That is right, folks, for just 10 cents a day, you can join Real American Politics. I think it's a good deal. Help support the channel, and yes. Alright, enough bull crap. Let's get into it. My home state of Wisconsin, we're finally doing an official prediction for Wisconsin. Well, at least the governor's race. I'm not going to say much for the Senate race because it's Johnson versus Mandela Barnes. So that's that. So this race is essentially between the GOP establishment of Wisconsin, I know some people don't like to say that, and the Trumpian base. That's what this race is between. I know a lot of people are going to say, but Kleefisch endorsed by everybody. Yeah, but the bigger names that endorsed her is like Mike Pence and, people like Scott Walker. Not necessarily, non-establishment folks. They are establishment people, Ted Cruz, etc. And they are endorsing Rebecca Kleefisch, who is the establishment candidate. I know I have disagreements with people on Twitter about this because, well, it's kind of questionable if, Michael's endorsements are good or not, but overall, when you look at who endorsed Kleefisch, she is definitely the more establishment candidate. When you get Mike Pence, Ted Cruz, Nikki Haley, etc., that's kind of a sign that, yeah, you're getting backed by the Republican establishment in Wisconsin. It's not a bad establishment. I mean, Wisconsin, when you compare to other states, has a good, I guess you could say, establishment. The establishment is bad, but compared to other states, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, Scott Walker was decent, and it's not terrible, but it's not great either. And she is going against the Trump-endorsed Tim Michels. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, Tommy Thompson endorsed Michels. He's part of the establishment. Yes, he's fallen off the past couple of years, but he still is not, as much in the establishment as somebody like Scott Walker and Ted Cruz. Like, Thompson has fallen off. I'm not denying that. Just saying that, So it is a race between the establishment and the non-establishment, but they're both good candidates. Kleefisch, I think, is a bit worse. Michels is who I'm voting for. I am voting for Tim Michels tomorrow, as I think he's better on the issues overall, and he's not a fraud like Kleefisch is. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, but he switched his opinion. Yes, from 15 years ago, Kleefisch is completely flip-flopping on frickin' same-sex marriage and contraceptives and stuff like that. I hate that when they do that because, I've learned. What's different between now and 10 years ago? Oh, you learned what gay sex is? How did you not know beforehand? That's my point. I hate when candidates just bend the knee like that on cultural issues. And Tim Michels has flat out said he is essentially against gay marriage, even now. And in my opinion, his economic platform is better than Rebecca Kleefisch. Now, I'm not denying Kleefisch would be a good governor, alright? I think she'd be a decent one, but I think Tim Michels is the better candidate for the race. Now, speaking of the race, it is a very close one. This is going to come down to the wire, and we may not know for a couple days or so. I hate to say that, but knowing Wisconsin, knowing what happens in a certain county in Milwaukee, we may not know for a while. And it is a close race. As most polls recently have Tim Michels up, the only one that hasn't was Rebecca Kleefisch, but they had, Carrie Lake losing by like 4 or 5. And this is a very similar situation. Emerson pulled this race, they have Kleefisch up by 2. You do some basic math, it's like they probably have Michaels ahead, according to that poll, if you take what happened in Arizona translated here. Now, the question is this: where is the race going to be won? Because this race is 100% geography. I mean, Wisconsin is one of the most unique states when it comes to geography. I mean, just the political regions are freaking nuts. So, obviously, we know the WOW counties. This is the famous big 3, I guess you can call it, in Wisconsin politics. As this for years was the Republican stronghold, and kind of still is, of Wisconsin. I mean, Waukesha has so many freaking votes, it's nuts. But in recent years, the Republican Party in Wisconsin has really began to pick up votes in northern Wisconsin, western Wisconsin, etc. And even places like Brown County, Outagamie, Winnebago, etc. So this race is going to be 100% won on geography. Now, geography in Wisconsin politics is a nightmare, but this is as simple as I can make it, so bear with me. So Kleefisch has the advantage in the southeastern Wisconsin and Dane County. That is where she's going to win the most votes from, because that's where she's been mostly campaigning. Well, that's kind of where the GOP establishment lives in Wisconsin. And you do the math of the WOW County vote share, the Milwaukee vote share, and Dane County's vote share. That's around 33% of the vote is going to be Kleefisch friendly at the bare minimum. You could count places like, Jefferson, Dodge, maybe places like Racine, maybe Wellworth, maybe. But either way, that's like, let's say 38, 39% of the vote is going to be from Kleefisch-friendly areas. Now, Michaels is essentially the rest of the state. All these red counties, all these places in central Wisconsin like Marathon, Wood, Wapaka, etc., they're pretty much all going to be Michaels. So that's around like 48%, but let's say, he struggles in a place like Wellworth. That's like, brings it down to like 42%. So there is a chunk of the vote that, is going to be the deciding factor. It is, of course, the Big 7. I haven't really discussed these counties much on this channel, but it's mostly located in the Fox Valley. This is a working class part of the state, but for years has been more Republican. It's kind of weird, because with it being more working class, you would think, okay, that used to be a Democrat stronghold. Not so much. And you see that Cruz actually won these counties. The Big 7 is Outagamie, Brown, Kelmont, Winnebago, Fond du Lac, Manitowoc, and Sheboygan. These are the Big 7. And they're working class Republican voters. That means they've been Republican voters for like 20, 30 years now. They weren't really Democrat voters before, but they always were, lean to the right. Now, many people can debate why, but I think it has more to do with cultural issues. There's a lot of evangelical voters in this part of the state, and that's kind of why Cruz kind of romped it up in places like Winnebago, Kelmont, etc. But this is still a fairly working class part of the state, and this election, in my opinion, will be won here. As well, you see Trump lost the state by around 13. Most of that lost vote you can really account for this part of the state here. He did not perform as well as he should have in this part of the state. And also, a recent election in 2018, Wisconsin GOP Senate race. Woo! We have an example of this. Kevin Nicholson lost by around 6 points. Well, he did good in places like Outagamie, Brown, he barely won Brown, Kelmont, etc. But the other 3, Fond du Lac, look at this. Fond du Lac was nearly perfect or identical to the statewide result. It predicted Fond du Lac went to Vukmir by 5. Well, she won the state by around 6. That kind of tells you that this part of the state does have a lot of pull now, especially in recent years with the party becoming more working class. This is a part of the state that is trending Republican, not as much as, southwestern Wisconsin, but there's still a lot of votes out here that if the candidate who wins the nomination wants to win, they gotta win these voters in this part of the state. And it is a working class, I guess you could say, more nationalist part of the Republican base. They're just a bit more evangelical. That's what I do think happened in 2016. A lot of these voters, I just don't think they trusted Trump on social issues. They may agreed with him on, economics, but it's just, they were like, Trump said some things about abortion in the past, gotta jump ship, can't trust him. But even then, Trump still did significantly better than Romney and McCain in these counties in the general election. So that's that in Wisconsin. So this is around 18% of the vote. That's a lot that's coming from these 7 counties. And if Michaels is winning the vast majority of them, he's going to win. If Fond du Lac is going towards, Kleefisch, she's probably going to win. But I do think with Trump endorsing in this race, these counties are going to be more favorable to Michaels when you really look at it. I mean, these are working class voters that originally did not trust Trump, but man, they love him now. So the question is this. What's my prediction? Well, you look at the polls, and the last poll from Emerson has Kleefisch up by 2 at 36%. Michaels at 34%. Ramthun, the one-issue candidate who isn't bad in the state Senate, won't be a good governor, all right? He's good in the state Senate, but just hope to God he never becomes governor, because that would be a disaster. And, of course, Kevin Nicholson, who dropped out. He's still on the ballot, and he's still going to get a chunk of the vote. Because I think, July 5th, he really cut it short. Why he dropped out? I don't know. That was not a smart move by Nicholson. But overall, folks, I think it's time for my prediction. And after doing a little bit of number crunching, and I did a little bit of a model, I looked at it, I have an official prediction. And again, before I say it, this is a margin of error of 3. That means, let's say X candidate gets, I project them to get 50% of the vote. That ranges from 53 to 47% of the vote. People need to understand I have a margin of error. I even put the bottom left corner this time. So folks, time to show you the prediction. That is right, folks. I project that Tim Michaels will win the primary by a couple points with 42% of the vote. Rebecca Kleefisch, I think, will get 39%. Now, the wild cards are definitely Ramthun and Nicholson. But from the polling I've seen and the fact that you look at the Lindell endorsed candidates that Trump didn't endorse, it's funny. They do surprisingly well. And Ramthun does have a base. It's just cursed. That's all I'm going to say. But I do think he ends up with like 8.5% of the vote because he's a one-issue candidate focused on election integrity. There's a lot of voters in the Republican Party, that's all they care about. First thing they think is Ramthun. So I do think, based on the polling, he gets around 8.5%. Nicholson's another one. But even from Emerson, he still got 6%. With a lot of undecideds, I think he gets around 7%. So I think Tim Michaels ends up winning with around 42%. Kleefisch is at 39% or so. It is a close race. It's within the margin of error. There's a serious shot that Kleefisch ends up winning by like 2 or 3. That's the margin of error. For example, Kleefisch could end up with 42% of the vote. Michaels ends up with like what? What is that? 38% of the vote or something like that? That's the margin of error. Remember that. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit the little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And, hope everybody tunes into the election night stream. That's going to be entertaining. There's a lot of memes to be had because, Alright, folks, we'll see you guys in the next video, or technically tomorrow's live stream. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Godspeed to all of you.